something under a microscope for the first time, that's the reaction. But when it comes to classroom activities, I think what we try to really do is, look at the curriculum that's there in cosmic education. Like we look at the way everything goes from real to abstract and take a deep dive ourselves as teachers into that concept. Because the more you study it, the more you research it, the more wonder you have on that topic yourself, the more wonder you're going to infuse in the children you're teaching. So this was a paleontology project we were doing with children. So it starts off with them going, looking, for a site where there's a fossil. Young Martha said that, I can't believe we found a fossil here. This was in the backyard of their school. She said, it's really very easy. But of course, we spoke about how it had been put there. But so they go prospecting, which is what it's called. They find, bits that we've obviously left sticking out of models, real bones, all kinds of things. Different ages of kids get different tools to clean this out with, but they follow a very similar process that a paleontologist would, which is that they would clean out a bit of the fossil, then they would make a grid, then they would sort of photograph that grid and sketch it to see where the bones were, because you don't want to have to go home with 100 bones and not know which part of the animal it is. It makes it much harder. Then they wrap it with tissue and bandages soaked in plaster of Paris so it doesn't get damaged on the way to the museum. And then when it gets to the museum, they use dental tools and, the kids use dental tools, but sort of brushes and water jets essentially to clean those fossils. And we have a lot of real fossils that we show them. If the class is about dinosaurs, we make them see what we, how do we know what we know about dinosaurs? The footprints that were found. How can they show us when someone's walking versus when something was running versus when something was jumping? Or how do we know that the Triceratops would get into a group and protect their young in the middle? It's because of the footprints that were found in that arrangement, right? So children make footprints and then we analyze them. We make models of T-Rex teeth in life size because it's so fun to hold that against your face and see how that would have looked. We do all kinds of activities, but I think essentially I've never come across a topic that couldn't be that fun. I've never come across a topic that you couldn't bring to life for children as long as you have spent enough time researching it or getting to know about it, understanding it. And it doesn't take a nature educator to do this, right? So in every field, whether it's art or math or language or anything, educators can introduce natural concepts. They exist everywhere. In fact, one of my most fun classes that I've attended was this cooking class, and I can't even make instant noodles, so I didn't really develop any skills from the class, but it was wonderful because the person was clearly a naturalist in just how they lived, and they were making avocado in chili oil on toast. And the class was filled with stories about how plants like chili or mushrooms would have, basically developed these mechanisms of being spicy, for example, as a defense mechanism so that animals wouldn't eat it. And now, ironically, that is what we're cultivating it for. That is what we're attacking it for all the time, is to take that same thing. And this is not just humans. Animals do it. Animals actually, get drunk on fermented coconuts. Animals, eat mushrooms for the same reasons that humans do. So this is not an uncommon phenomenon in the natural world. And then he said, oh, and also the avocados. The last animal that could actually disperse the seed of an avocado, the last herbivore that was large enough to eat the avocado and take its seed and poop it out somewhere else, which is how the tree propagates, was the giant sloth. So the reason that avocados exist today is because for the last 10,000 years or so, humans have been propagating them. And there's no way to prove that. I mean, it could have been that they would have found a niche and there might be a few, but in the grand scheme of things, most plants would have gone extinct in that situation. So yes, it's fascinating, and I think once you start being interested, once you start meeting people, once you start going on walks that are happening in your city, because every city in this country has bird walks going on right now. So many cities in this country have mushroom walks and insect walks and lake walks and just amazing naturalists that we can learn from, most of them. And the more we do this as teachers, the more our children are going to get the opportunity to do amazing things in and outside the classroom. And a teacher who has, spent enough time in this space can then bring it to life, whether it's in an online class, whether it's with no budget. I don't think any of these things are restrictions. I do feel that nature can be, because we are nature, we are a part of nature. It can be a refuge and a place where we find still and calm and peace and so many things that are so important today. All that we need is for educators, for people in this room to nurture their own sense of wonder and to form their own profound and deep connections with it. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandini, for sharing your beautiful experiences in the outdoors. I know most of us are very envious of you right now to be able to have spent your childhood over there. Not all of us in the urban settings have that opportunity to explore the outdoors in that manner. And thank you for also highlighting that it's not that difficult for us to help our children to connect with the natural world with ease, without the fear of bugs and insects and things like that. So thank you so much. A little something from us.
Thank you so much. Grab that.
Very interesting perspectives we've heard this afternoon. Just to refresh ourselves again, let's go for a quick coffee break and come back. We will be back by 3:10, 4:10. We will be back by 4:10. 4? Sorry. We will be back by 4 o'clock. All right. In the meantime, after the coffee break, we are going to have a panel discussion. So if you all have any questions that you'll have thought about, please make a note of it and we will see what we can do to address those questions. Thank you very much. Please enjoy your coffee.